As a website strategist, one of the most common questions I get is how do I get my site to rank highly in search engines? The answer is actually quite complex, and the entire marketing industry works very hard every day to try and answer that question. But in this short video, I'm going to try to give you a very high-level overview of how this works. The first thing I ask when people say that to me is, well, what keywords do you want to rank for? The truth is, some words are more valuable to your business than others. So if we take, for example, an orthodontics practice in the Phoenix area, the first thing we have to ask and look at with the keywords is, where are they at in the buyer journey? So someone who's Googling braces cost or best place to get braces is different than someone who Googles something like braces hurting or how to alleviate pain in braces. Then you want to think about a concept called long tail words versus short tail words, right? So a short tail phrase would be someone Googling orthodontist Phoenix. A short tail phrase is going to get a lot of traffic, but it may or may not be super relevant to what you're looking for. A long tail phrase is going to get less traffic, but it's going to be much more specific to what you're looking for, and it's going to be easier to rank for. So an example might be questions to ask an orthodontist during a first visit. Not as many people Googling that, but the ones who are probably getting pretty close to making an appointment. You also want to think about the competitive landscape. It may be tempting to go after orthodontist Phoenix as your word. However, you may find that orthodontist North Scottsdale actually converts better because an orthodontics practice is somewhat geographic, and someone who's searching Phoenix may or may not be relevant to you. So if you spend a bunch of time and money getting ranked on that, even if you achieved it, only a smaller percentage of those people are actually going to end up doing business with you. The reality is it's hard to target more than 10 or 15 keywords without a pretty significant budget. So my first piece of advice when trying to figure out how to get your website to rank highly is be very careful about picking the right words that have maximum value for your firm, minimal competition, so you can get in there and get some of that low-hanging fruit and get some return on investment. It takes 6 months in some cases to rank on these words, so choose them very wisely. One pro tip on that would be to choose the words in conjunction with your paid search efforts, because when you're running paid ads, you can get a feel for what kind of words are converting and then translate that, use that to inform your organic campaign as well. So that's the first thought. Pick the keywords carefully. Once you've got your keywords picked, the next step is what we call on-site optimization. These are technical changes that we do to your website to signal to Google and other search engines what this website should rank for. The first thing to do is organize your content. Again, if you're an orthodontist, a page about the braces, a page about TMJ, a page about Invisalign, a page about how we cater to children or teenagers. Because each of these pages you have a goal. This one's going to rank for these terms. This one's going to rank for these terms. Try to align those pages with the questions people are actually asking. When people Google a question and your page refers to that question and answers that question, Google's going to direct them to that page. Use keywords throughout the text, but don't get annoying. Early on in the days of search optimization, you would see this. Braces Gilbert, how to get braces. Braces are the best. Braces, braces, braces. And the more they said it, the more likely they were to rank more highly on Google. Google's gone way past that. They're really good now at telling when people are keyword stuffing, which is what we call that. So use the words in your content, but don't go crazy with it. Big mistake I see is people make content that is not machine readable. So they'll upload an image or a graphic or something like that that actually has words as part of the image. Google can't read that, so you want to add behind the scenes, we call them alt tags. You want to avoid doing that if possible. Again, and there's a number of other things. Make the website machine readable though, because Google is, at the end of the day, a machine. So that's when we get into things like title tags, description tags. Those are particularly important because whatever's in those little pieces of code is actually what shows up in the search results, and that could be the difference between whether someone clicks on your ad or not. Some other things we think about when it comes to on-site optimization: loading speed can affect your rankings on Google, whether or not your site is mobile friendly, whether or not it's accessible to those with disabilities. All of these different things can kind of help give you the edge when Google is trying to decide who to make number 1 and who to make number 10. So those are what we call the on-page factors. You've got your keywords, you've got your on-site optimization. The next big step is what we would call OffSite Optimization. One of the biggest things that impacts whether or not your website ranks highly on search engines is how many other quality websites link to you. We call those inbound links. So for an orthodontist, again, continuing with that example, do you have links from directories? Do you have links from review sites? Are there question and answer sites like Quora where you have links back? Do you have guest posts on industry information sites? Maybe you're getting links from the local schools and other community resources. All of these kinds of things are indicators to Google that not only do you think that your practice should be number one, but lots of other people are linking to you, and that weighs heavily into the algorithm. Social media is going to play into this. If there's a lot of buzz on social media about your website, Google takes that as a signal and ranks you higher. There is this concept called domain authority or domain relevance. Basically, if you've been around longer and had more links to you and had more content, then when you make a new practice area page or a new location, you're going to rank more quickly for that than someone who's just getting into the game, because your website is more established, more reputable with Google on the topic of, again, using this example, braces or orthodontists or keywords of that nature. So that's the offsite optimization world, and that's really what it comes down to. Get the right keywords, optimize your website, and then get as much inbound indicators to Google as possible. A couple last quick things I would say about getting your site to rank highly on Google. Number one, there's some shortcuts you can take. If you Google the term you want to Google and there's, again, Orthodontist Phoenix, and there's already a directory site, can you pay to get on that directory? Can you get some customers to leave you reviews or whatever it is to get on that? It's not as good as getting your website to that spot, obviously, but people are Googling that. They are ending up on that directory, and you can short circuit a little bit by maybe paying. Google My Business, GMB, is a great example of this. You don't actually have to pay for that, but that listing is going to come up first. Maybe a YouTube channel, maybe a review site, maybe your social media page. Folks on Amazon are aware of this, because if you rank highly on Amazon, Amazon already ranks highly on Google, and so you kind of get that benefit of the traffic that's flowing down. Other things to consider: website rankings aren't always the same. So if you Google something and I Google something, Google's getting to the point now where it takes into account our physical location, things we've Googled in the past, personalizing results to us. So just be mindful that being number one on Google may not be the same across devices or across people who are Googling it. Search optimization efforts pair really nicely with content marketing plans. So if you're blogging, if you're producing videos that are generally helpful, you may have realized that's exactly what I'm doing here, putting content out that's helpful to people who are in that buy process. Those kinds of things are just going to help you rank more highly on Google. So again, there's a ton more that we could go into here, but for our purposes today, I hope you found this to be a good overview. As always, I'd love to have you reach out to discuss further or to share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.